Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue and I am back for another Love Goals review, y'all. Alright, so let's just get into it, because to tell y'all the truth, I ain't even feel like getting up here today. I ain't feel like getting myself together. I ain't feel like recording. I ain't feel like putting my face on camera. Okay, but I decided I don't feel like being backed up for 2 days, because I got 3 videos coming on tonight I gotta do. Nobody has time to have, 6 videos to do tomorrow. Like, I just don't have time for that. So we're here for Love Goals, and the episode was really good, you guys. This episode was like really entertaining. Okay, Benzino is bad shit. Let's just go ahead and put that out there. Okay, so they start off the episode with the group session. Okay, and the question is posed to everyone. Okay, who has shown up the least in this therapy process? Coolio goes first. He says Sunday. He just doesn't get a lot from her. He doesn't hear a lot from her. He hasn't seen a lot from her. And I'm like, you kind of got here late. And I think it's ironic that, you think that she's the one that hasn't been giving. Like, Coolio doesn't give anything. Coolio is like all jokes and like stereotypical stories. Like, no disrespect. That is your story. But some of it seems surface layer. Some of it seems like, let's not delve as deep. Let's throw it on out there and then just, be like, yeah, that's my story. Like, Coolio has always been someone who can say what his dark story is. Like, that's the type of artist, to me at least, he's always been. So it just kind of seems like he doesn't have an issue letting y'all know what those dark, traumas are, but actually dealing with those traumas, actually figuring out how to get past them, doesn't seem to have the capacity just yet. Not that he won't, he just doesn't. Mimi, okay, she says she thinks Coolio is the one who's shown up least. I said thank you because I would agree. He takes it as a joke. And I was like, girl, that's exactly what I said last week when he did that poem, that he was taking it for play. I felt like a lot of the men, not all, but most of them weren't diving as deep as they could have. But of course, stereotypically, that is to be expected. Spin says she thinks it's Sunday as well. She thinks that Sunday stops herself from receiving love from others. Sunday gets all defensive, and it's so funny to me that she was trying to like bark at Spin, like, oh, like you do, Spin? And Spin was like, yeah, exactly like I do, exactly like me. That's why I can recognize it, because I see myself. And I was like, oh, okay, that self-awareness will shut your ass down at every turn. Something I learned years ago. Oh yes, you can't tell me about me. You can't rib me about me. If it's true, I'll be like, yeah, and what? They asked Benzino who he thinks hasn't shown up. Benzino says that, I don't want to judge. It's not for me to judge. I'm like, okay, Benzino, right. You can't judge. Sure. I've seen you on Love and Hip Hop. You can definitely judge people, okay? Like, I think it's so funny that you were calling Jocelyn a cokehead, and I'm like, sir, as if you and Stevie weren't meeting up to do a few lines on the mirror together. I'm just saying, birds of a feather, birds of a feather. Breon goes next, and he says it's Benzino. Benzino does a lot of huffing and puffing and a lot of girl stuff. A lot of bitch-made activity going on from Benzino's area. And y'all, I was like, wow, Breon really went there. I didn't think he was going to go there, but he did. And when he said girl stuff, I knew that Benzino was not going to take that well. And I just felt like it was his delivery. Like, girl stuff, my dude. And I like the way Spirit had to tell him, like, okay, let's be misogynistic about it, girl stuff. Let's be real. Dudes have the most temper tantrums when they don't get their way. That's why the world is the way it is right now, because men have temper tantrums when they don't get their way. So I think it's so ironic that somehow that gets tagged on to us as females, when we seem to be on a regular basis the ones that have to just suck it up and go along. So I'm looking at this whole situation like, okay, Breon, you may be right about Benzino, but you doing a lot right now. Like, you were a little too rowdy as far as I'm concerned. Was it me? Was it just me? Like, there was no need for all of that at the time. And then right after Breon calls out Benzino, then here comes Sunday calling out Benzino, saying the exact same thing. And I'm like, if this ain't the pot calling the kettle or the kettle calling the pot. Now, I know that each person could not, give themselves as the person that was, least committed to the process, or however you want to say it. But I still felt like Sunday was going at Benzino's neck so hard as if she doesn't do the same thing. She may not take up as much, energy and room as Benzino does, but she does it with her passive aggressiveness. She gets quiet. She doesn't want to say anything. Little slick ass remarks. Look at the way she reacted to Spin. Like, girl, get out of here with that. But see, it really got deep when Teresa jumped in and she agreed that it was also Benzino. And I think it's because everybody is tired of Benzino taking up so much time and energy in group. He's always going on these rants and spazzing out and taking up energy and taking up time, and he doesn't engage in everybody else's process. Like, you don't want to give your opinion, but you want to cry and talk aimlessly for hours and hours and all of that. Nobody has time for that. You need to get your life together. If you can't say clear and concisely in a few words how you feel, then something is wrong with you, Benzino. Like, I'm sorry. And for everybody else, they can't just say, I'm bothered, da-da-da-da-da, and then let it go. Benzino has to keep going and keep going. Y'all, it was just like, oh my God. He would not stop, and he was so upset and so pressed, and Sunday and Brianna are going back and forth with him. Teresa's going back and forth with him. At one point, Brianna called Benzino like an old man, like, I'll handle you, don't make me get up and all of this. And the funny thing was that when Teresa was going back and forth with Benzino, Dwayne was just sitting there like eyes straight ahead with the sunglasses on. And I wasn't really paying no attention to him at the time because so many other people were, going at it with Benzino. I just wanted to see Spirit get control of the room again, because they were just doing way too much. And Sunday, I feel like you throw a lot of low blows. You went far. It was rather unnecessary. It's almost like you have some underlying shit with Benzino that you don't want to really talk about. So whenever you get a chance to jab, you do. You know what I'm saying? Is it just me, y'all? But I think Sunday and Brianna were going at Benzino a little tough, even though I do understand and agree that he does take up all of this energy in the room. And then when it comes time for him to share and give other people, perspective, he doesn't want to do that. It's obnoxious and it's exhausting. Benzino felt like everything that they were saying was a dig. And how am I supposed to receive it constructively when y'all are coming at me like this? And I kind of understood where he was coming from. But as a grown-ass man, he should have handled that situation much better. I do like that Spirit told Sunday she doesn't have to show up for every fight. Meaning, it didn't have to get to that level, but you just had to go there with him, didn't you? You could have just sat there, said what you had to say, and let it go. And if Brianna and Benzino want to go back and forth as a woman, sit there and let your man do whatever he got to do. Okay? But don't always have to bark just as loud, just as hard. It was too much to me. I felt like Brianna could have said things better as well. But at the end of the day, the message is still the same. Benzino, get it together. Teresa keeps trying to tell him that he's being disrespectful, and she's going back and forth with him about Althea, because now she's formed this friendship with Althea the same way that Althea complains about Benzino to Teresa, like in their girl conversations. I think that's the same thing that he kind of shows them in the house and in the group process. So now Teresa is like, this is exactly what Althea is talking about when she says that you can't take it. Like, you explode, you act like a child, you throw a temper tantrum, and there's no talking to you. And it's so disrespectful. And Teresa sees herself in Althea because they both want to be heard. And Benzino gets to a place where he's not listening to shit. Benzino leaves because he can't take all of this, all right? Teresa admits that she is disappointed in him. I think she also sees Dwayne in Benzino as well, okay? But one of the main things that Teresa was worried about was Dwayne popping off. She likes to handle her own situations because Dwayne is not a verbal person. He won't just say, hey man, stop talking to my wife like that. He is going to jump into beating the shit out of you. And she has been in situations with him like that before, where he's put his hands on somebody and the shit got scary for her. So she likes to handle her own battles so that Dwayne doesn't get involved. And I think Dwayne learns to just sit there, and keep his eyes, looking forward, because for him, he was just waiting for Benzino to get up. But I don't think Benzino was ever going to come at her like that. I do think he respects Dwayne, and I think he respects Teresa. I just think it was way too many people throwing daggers at his sensitive ass. Like, I think that's really what it was. But this is the truth, Benzino. This is what you do. Benzino is outside talking to the executive producer, breaking audio equipment and shit. I'm like, oh, that's going to come out of your check. But whatever. pushing the camera out his face. Like, just walk away. Why you always gotta put your hands on the equipment? Like, pushing the camera towards the cameraman of his eyes and the eyepiece and all of that. Like, I'm so not okay with that. Stay the hell away from me. You signed a release. Get out of here with that. Don't touch my camera. 2 hours later, Benzino is still outside. Spinderella finally couldn't take it anymore, and she goes outside to talk to him. And she is one of the only people who can talk to him because she's used to appeasing crazy ass people, i.e. Pepper. He's out there playing a victim, and I just wish he would grow up. Teresa is ready to leave the house because she doesn't want Dwayne to fuck Benzino up. And I just kind of feel like, girl, calm down. If you calm down, calm your man down, it'll be fine. Like, even though Benzino was going off and Dwayne probably was feeling some type of way, I don't think it was quite there. It was almost there, but it wasn't quite there yet. Because if it was, I don't think Benzino would have been able to talk to Dwayne later. And later on, Dwayne and Benzino have a conversation amongst themselves, and it's all good. Which I was glad for, because it's not about Teresa. It's not about Dwayne. It's not about Son. Like, it's not about none of them. It's about the shit that Benzino has going on in his mind that makes him not be able to keep still. That makes him not be able to accept criticism without jumping off the fucking ledge like a 5-year-old. Spirit talks to Teresa and gets her to stay by telling her that leaving will not help, and she needs to help her husband be a better man. So instead of trying to run from the situation, go make sure he's okay. Go try to, calm him down and make sure he's on the right path, just the way you've always done. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's not her responsibility to help him control himself because he's an adult, but it is our job as wives to help our husbands be the best people that they can be, and vice versa. So the conversation amongst the house is, this nigga's ill as far as Benzino is concerned. He talks to Spirit, and basically, like, Benzino needs love, okay? He needs a hug, and it's been so hard for him because he hasn't been able to spend time with his son. And, it's just really getting to him. The pressure of the house, the situation with Althea. I just think he's gotten to his breaking point with feeling out of control of his life. And it's not even, just the situation with Althea not seeing your son, but it's the actual process of them being in his house for a certain amount of days, however they control the environment so that the therapy can be most, useful. It's just a lot to it, and I think that it is a lot of pressure. And for somebody like Benzino, who probably needs personal therapy all on his own a few times a week, like, he's always working out and shit, but I think a lot of men feel like working out is a substitute for therapy, and it's not. Y'all need to do both. Okay, so Benzino, the next time you want to post a picture of your pectoral muscles, okay, which are way too close to your chin, but live on, old man, live on. How about you post, you in a side by side with your therapist or something like that? Like, I'm just saying, because I think there's a lot of things Benzino needs to work on, and he's not being honest about his childhood and why he is in such need of love. Why is it so bothersome for him to have people critique him? Like, he's just so sensitive, and he just needs to work that out. Spirit has to explain to Benzino that the group was coming from a place of love. Even if he didn't receive it that way, that is the way they were giving it. And then she gets up and she hugs him. She wants to give him love and let him know he is loved, he is cared about. Their interactions are very, like, loving, and I hope genuine. They seem genuine to me. I love the way she was able to get into the place and give him what he needed in the moment. And I think that is one of the things that Iyanla does that you just don't see a lot of therapists do, just as far as TV shows and shit like that. But, like, to see them put themselves in a place of the person that can give you comfort when it seems as if that is something you weren't given from, somebody else in your life. I think that is something very special for them to be able to do, because it really did make him feel lighter. And then they brought his son in. They brought baby Zeno in to see him, and he spent some time with him, and he was much happier and much lighter. And I think that is the good guy in Benzino, who he is as a father, how he is as a man as it pertains to his son, because he's happy and he's caring and all of that. He's right there with his son. All right, let's play with the car. He's in tuned. So when you see him interact with his son, you see the good side of Benzino, and that is what needs to translate in therapy. Okay, child, they gonna get it there, but him and Althea, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they need to let that go. I don't know if they ever will, because I feel like it's been 7-8 years of this foolishness. Figure it out, okay? Figure it the hell out. But y'all got a kid to be sane for, and all of this back and forth and fighting and shit is just too much. Benzino, move on. That's another thing, brother. Move on. okay? I don't know how many times I can say it to you. Move on, brother. Move on. But yeah, y'all, that was Love Goals. I hope y'all enjoyed the review. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one.